Previously on the road to Washington. This thing weighed the same as my old car, but had about 500 more horsepower. I was about to find out if my preparation was enough. Mount Washington is only 2 hours away, giving me a home field advantage. I can come out here just to memorize the road. I've probably driven it 20 to 30 times since my first race here in 2017. I did pretty good that year, finishing third in class in a street legal Miata. That was pretty special because for us hill climbers, this is our Daytona 500. Practice day 1 starts at the sand pit and ends at the summit. Just driving there, something felt a little weird in the suspension. The car would get thrown around by the crest of the road, and the back end felt like it had a mind of its own. It got me pretty anxious. I'm not gonna lie, part of me wanted to pack up and call it a day. But that all went away when I dropped the hammer. It was game time, and I needed to push my limits if I was going to have confidence by Sunday. I scared myself a little getting onto the dirt. I knew I wasn't going to have much traction with the slick tires. It doesn't look like much, but I slid right to the edge of the road when I meant to keep it in the middle. This was the fastest dirt transition I'd make all weekend. Alright guys, it's Saturday around 6 o'clock and I'm heading to Mount Washington for Climb to the Clouds practice day number 2. Practice day number 1 went pretty well, all things considered. We found some things just to tighten it up, and we'll see if that brings the crispness of the handling back. Not that it really had any, but just a little bit more to give me some confidence going up this mountain road. We're looking at chance of showers pretty much all throughout the afternoon, and if there's any water on the road, I'm not going to chance it. You can have the best car at the event, but if you don't trust your equipment or your skills, you won't be confident and you won't be fast. That's why it's important to get as much practice in as possible. Unfortunately, Mother Nature had different plans for us on Saturday, so I stuck to my plan and didn't run for the first session. After all this work, it was really painful to watch from the sidelines, but after seeing those rooster tails come off the Subaru Air Slayer, I knew I'd made the right choice. It had dried up a bit for the second practice session. There were some reports of wet patches, but the road was mostly dry, so I figured I'd take my chances. With the crowd watching, there was no way I was taking it completely easy. They paid for a show, and I had to give them something. The road looked pretty dry, so I started getting up to speed. But if you keep a close eye on that left front tire, you can start to see it getting shiny. That's enough water to cause me to take an unexpected shortcut, so I took the rest of the run nice and slow. Sunday morning was an early start. We did a final nut and bolt check on the car and found a loose trailing arm. The bolt was too small for the heim joint, causing the rear end to shift around slightly. So we put the right size bolt in and we were good to go. Yeah. I am trying to think about nothing so that I can just kind of get into my zone and just kind of let my practice take over. With the car all set, I think to myself, all I need to do is get to the top. Hopefully that bolt fix was enough to give me the control I was looking for. A lot of work has led me to this point, and there's no room for mistakes. The weather is perfect, the car is ready, it's time to see if I'm ready to drive it. I get some wheel spin off the launch. With only one practice run, I blow through the first set of turns in the blink of an eye. I'm not quite full speed through the speed trap, but from the corner of my eye, I think I see sparks when I bottom out, and I think to myself, that's going to look pretty cool on video. but I need to focus on driving. I take it easy getting on the dirt, giving myself plenty of extra road in case I go wide. I can barely touch the throttle to keep the rear end behind me, and I'm babying the car until I get to the Cragway turn. Up above the tree line is all sight driving and managing wheel spin over the crests. Cow pasture is where you really start to feel the air getting thinner. I'm not accelerating like I was at the base of the mountain, that's for sure. I made it. I drove up Mount Washington in an asphalt modified in 6 minutes and 51 seconds. That's just under a minute faster than my previous time in the Miata. It felt good, but I made one mistake. I looked at the standings. 10th overall and 2nd in class. There were 11 seconds between me and Spencer Steele in first place. That's a lot of time, but I thought I could do it. So I got to work. I decided to remove the supplemental mufflers to get a little more power. I could feel the motor running out of breath at the top end, and if I was going to make up 11 seconds, I needed all the power I could get. The funky handling that I'd been fighting all weekend was gone. I've got a slim chance at a first place finish, and this is my last shot. I'm going for it. I get a good launch. I short shift to control wheel spin, touching the grass only slightly to straighten my line. I was in the zone. I was 4th fastest through the speed trap at 111 miles an hour, and I paid for it at the bump. I bottom out hard, shooting sparks up through the missing body panel, and I was lucky that I didn't upset the car. You can hear the RPMs shoot up every time a rear tire loses traction. I need to be careful on the throttle not to allow too much wheel spin. Then I approach the second high-speed segment. I know this turn tightens, so I scrub a little bit of speed, then gently roll back onto the gas. The bridges are my favorite part. They're tight, scary, but you can carry a ton of momentum through it. Then there's another straight after the left. I get on the gas just as I'm going over the crest, and the back starts to step out. I almost put it in the grass there. Then there's the sand pit. You can carry a lot of momentum through here too, just like the bridges. This is where I picked up a lot of time. Then there's my third and final code brown. I go over the crest, and the back end steps out just a little. Luckily, I hit the uphill, and the car grips up just as I'm about to lose it. Then it's balls to the walls through Signal Corps. I got onto the dirt nice and easy, left myself plenty of track out, and just tried to control wheel spin. I might have been able to go a little faster through here, but I wanted to bring the car home in one piece. So I'm basically waiting for the pavement to come back. At this point, I'm thinking, I made it. I didn't crash. Don't F this up. Before finish, there's a crest. Right there. The road just disappears into the sky. This is the part where you say a little prayer, hold it wide open, and hope for the best. 6 minutes, 35 seconds, a full 16 seconds faster than my previous run. I needed to beat Spencer by 11 seconds to get first. I am pumped. But Spencer wasn't slacking either. He turned around an even faster lap and beat me by an additional 1.9 seconds. I'm second in class and 8th overall. Not too shabby. I beat my wildest expectations. But I was still second place, and the relentless competitor in me wanted the slightly larger trophy and the slightly larger step on the podium. This is how recreational users of race cars become full-blown addicts. Next time, I'm showing up with more motor, more tire, more downforce, more practice, and less weight. Why? This is our Daytona. This is Mount Washington. Want to support the channel? Like, share, subscribe, or go to our online store in the link below for shirts, hats, hoodies, and all the latest apparel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you at the track.